Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2017 Ford C-Max. I want to walk through how to install the Roadmaster 12 volt outlet kit. This is what our 12 volt outlet kit is going to look like when it's installed. Now it really can be put anywhere on the vehicle. If you're going to be using it for a braking system, you're going to make sure it's in a location where the braking system cable is going to reach it. Now typically that's what these are going to be used for, because the 12 volt outlets inside the vehicle will shut down after approximately 15 minutes. Because it's a portable braking system, it is going to require power. Now, we have taken this and gone straight from the battery, so it's going to have constant 12 volt power to run the braking system while we're towing the vehicle. The 12 volt outlet is going to come with the metal bracket to mount it. The only thing we really have to do is run the cable outside of the vehicle. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's walk through how to get it installed. To start our installation, we need to determine where we're going to mount our 12 volt outlet for our braking system. Typically, these are going to come with a fuse on them, and they get tapped to a fuse somewhere in the engine compartment. However, cars nowadays, because this needs to be on all the time, I recommend cutting this fuse off, extending the wire, and going directly to the battery and fusing it there. So we need to determine where we're going to mount it and how we're going to route it out. There's nowhere on the firewall on this vehicle that we can really get through. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount it on this panel right on this side. And these just pop off. It may be easier with a trim panel tool to pop those off. Pull your carpet up. There's a plastic plug right here. What we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole in that. We're going to pass our wires through there. And we're going to extend that one wire up to the battery. The other one is going to be a ground. And there's a factory ground right here under this piece, right there. So we're going to ground it right there. So to start this, what we're going to do is we're going to mount this little holder right about here. Kind of test fit it, see where you want it to be. Make sure you're going to have enough room. And it looks like really anywhere on this part here is going to be good. We're going to take our wires. You want to make sure those tabs are going to face you if you're in the vehicle. And this will slide over the top. And you just bend those tabs to hold that in place. So you've got an extra piece of wire. I'm going to strip back one end. I'm going to add on a heat shrink butt connector because the wire will be going outside. We're going to take this end. We'll kind of spread those apart a little bit. Cut off that original fuse. And strip this back. Put it in our butt connector. And we can take our heat source and shrink it up. And then we'll get our hole drilled and feed our wires outside. This plug right here, I'm going to drill a 1/2 inch hole through it. That should give me enough room to get my wires in. Pass your wire down through there. Right underneath, there's a cardboard panel. There's a couple of plastic fasteners on there. Take a large Phillips screwdriver, loosen them up, kind of pull down on it just a little bit. That'll allow you to drop it down enough to reach up in there. I found that this ring terminal is a little bit too big for that bolt. So what I'm going to do is, instead of cutting it off and putting a new one on, we have plenty of metal here on the body. So I'm just going to take the self-tapper that comes in the kit, and I'm going to ground it right there. Now I'm not going to put this back in place just yet, because I still have to run a wire from my breakaway switch for the braking system up through this hole so it can be connected to the braking system inside the vehicle. But essentially, all the wires are going to be hidden underneath the carpet. We're not going to see any, and this is what it's going to look like. So that's the plug we came out of. I ran it right here. Followed my diode wiring. Went behind this panel. T27 star bit, Torx bit. I took this screw out, ran it up around that where that screw mounts. Right around here. There's a hard line. Right here. It's a brake line. I ran the wire over the top of it. Behind this panel. Right up to the front, which is above this panel. Took my wire and fed it right over the top like this. We can go from here straight up this way, and the battery post is right up there. And where I'm going to be connecting it is actually where this post goes down to this bolt right here and nut. And once I brought my wire up, I zip tied it right to this hard line here. It's to keep it taut. I'd stay away from anything hot or moving. Now I'm going to cut it down to size. Just cut it about there. We'll strip back the end. Head on another heat shrink butt connector. Take our fuse holder. You can find these here at etrailer. We'll strip back each end. One end, we'll put on a ring terminal. The other end, get connected into a butt connector. And we'll take our heat source and shrink that up. Now I'm just going to temporarily hook it up for now, just to make sure it's working correctly. And then I'll remove it from here. That way it's not hot all the time while I'm trying to run other wires and put my panel back in place. 1/2-inch socket will remove the nut. Let's put it in place. Make sure the fuse is not in the holder when you make your connection. The bus fuse that was in the original fuse holder was 20 amp, so we want to make sure we're replacing it with the same amp fuse. Insert our fuse, and then we'll test out the plug to make sure it's getting 12 volt power. Now we'll take our test light and we're going to touch that very center post. That means we know we're getting 12 volt power. We can go ahead and disconnect it from our battery post and finish up running any other wires we want or getting our panels reinstalled. So all I did was pull my fuse out. That will disconnect the power. And essentially when I get done running on my wires, I'll clean everything up and I can tuck this down in here, make it look nice and neat, but accessible. It's going to do it for a look at installation on Roadmaster's 20 amp 12 volt outlet kit.